Good evening to one and all present here on this fifth day and the last day of the 5 days National Level Faculty Development Program, a training series 1 held on 19th October to 23rd October 2020. Last 4 days of the 5 days National Level Faculty Development Program, a training series 1 had went on very well with our first special guest speaker on the first day, Dr. D. Venkatraman sir, who spoken on role of teacher in modern perspective with elaborative and pleasing manner. Second day, special guest speaker, Dr. Chelvi S. Madam, delivered her speech on traits of empowerment of self as extensively. Third day, our third special guest speaker, Dr. Radhika Vidyasagar, who has delivered a comprehensive speech on stint of emotional intelligence in academics. And yesterday, the fourth day, with our fourth special guest speaker, Dr. M. Kumarasamy, who has delivered as wide-ranging on creative teaching and learning process in dynamic institution. And also, the four of them have cleared and clarified the doubts and questions raised from the participant side at the end of their respective sessions. Participants are fully satisfied, hence the fourth day session have been completed successfully. On continuation of the fourth day session, today as a fifth day and last day of this 5 days National Level Faculty Development Program, 23rd October 2020 starts with our special guest speaker, Dr. C. Ranganathan sir, Associate Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, Bharathidasan University, Tiruchirappalli, is going to deliver his ample speech on innovative teaching and learning through ICT, e-learning and special social media. To boot out from probing of knowing of today's special guest speaker, I call upon Mrs. Grace, my PhD scholar, to introduce and brief on his extensive academic travel till date. Over to Grace.
Good afternoon, one and all. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. This moment witnesses the delightfulness and the cherishable glory in welcoming and introducing Dr. C. Ranganathan, who has his MSc and MPhil in chemistry and MA in education and has his master's, MPhil and PhD in library and information sciences. He has to his credit UGC NET, CSIR NET, SLIT for lectureship in chemistry and in library science. He has 20 plus years of teaching experience starting from 1999 as Scientist C in leave vacancy to an Associate Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, Bharathidasan University, now to a shining exposure in several teaching areas. Along with it, he has been a member of NIRF 2016-19 at Bharathidasan University and has been a coordinator in School of Life Science Library, Bharathidasan University 2014-17. Till now, he has guided 31 PG projects, 86 MPhil researchers and is still guiding several young research minds. He has published in 150 plus national and international journals and conferences and has received several distinct awards for his papers. He has several exposure in efficiently organizing seminars, conferences, workshops and events with grand success with flying colors. And he has participated in 100 plus conferences, seminars, workshops and training programs to develop himself. He is a member of several professional bodies, editorial boards, advisory boards and academic bodies. He has been a resource chairperson in 75 plus events. He is a reviewer for more than 10 international and national journals. He has experience in conducting 25 plus Viva for MPhil students. He has 25 plus research articles published in UGC journals. In brief, Dr. C. Ranganathan sir is an Associate Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, Bharathidasan University. He is a thirstful warrior enlightening several students and keen to co-build his colleague and teaching fraternity. Today, While I join you all in listening to Dr. C. Ranganathan sir, I am so proud to introduce him and welcome him here, who is with us to light us in the topic Innovative Teaching and Learning through ICT, E-Learning and Social Media. Over to you, sir. Good day.
Good afternoon. The voice is audible?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon all. First of all, I would like to thanks to the organizing team members and especially from the Sujata madams giving me opportunities in today's session of the resource persons. So today we are going to talk about from the innovative teaching and learning through ICT, e-learning and social media. I saw from the lot of people who are senior, most people are connecting from this FTP programs to attending here. So I am from very little bit knowledge I know to learn and sharing to all the faculty members and scholars also. So now going to presenting from this my presentations. Sir, visible? Hello, madam. Hello.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Visible?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Visible. So good afternoon to all. So now going to presenting from my sessions to start. So innovative teaching and learning through ICT, e-learning and social media. So today from the learning of the students, we are expecting from the concept from the technology based aspects. So in the olden days, knowledge is power. Today is a sharing of knowledge is powers. So the young generations, we are expecting from the visualized concepts. So you already know the senior most faculty members are there. The David Corner, you have to classify the knowledge. The 7 types of the knowledge is classified. One is the aspects of the linguistic knowledge, and another one is for the musical knowledge, and another one is for the mathematical and the logical knowledge, and the fourth one is for the visual knowledge, and another kinetics of the knowledge, or interpersonal or intrapersonal knowledge. But today, the every peoples or every students are expecting these from the visualization of the knowledge. Those visualized from the creativity of the visualized the expertise. So we are from the education persons, we say from the olden days, the 3R and 3H. Majority of teaching faculty members are there, the education faculty are there. So the 3R and 3H, the reading, the writing and arithmetics. And 3H means head, heart, hand. So before 20 years, back the 20 years, 2 decades back, we are using everybody's from head, heart, hand. But the today young generations, everything's not short for the head, not for the heart. Only from the using the mouse only is using. So as a teacher, the teaching fraternities, we can move from the technological orienteds. So when I was comments also, we are all from these, we are participants, the peoples are from the citizen of the India. But in the young generation from netizen of the Indias, the netizens of the peoples. So everything we have to learn to only from the ICT mode. So we know to teachers to change from teaching concept to be changed from the technological orientation. So before going to from these aspects, the informations and communications technology. So everybody's are knowing, I am not just explaining for the details. So during the last decade of the 20th century, there was extraordinary development for ICTs. See all things, information from the transmission of the process and the practices from the human activities, these aspects. So the technology is used in the conveying and manipulations and storage of data by electronic means. So if you want anything from the electronic means, if students are needed, students are expecting the aspects from everything to put it from the electronics via. Without electronics bias, we cannot accepting this people's young generation of the peoples. So we need from the ICTs. So the information communication technologies continues that the data that has been stored and arranged, everything is systematically stored and arranged. For example, if you prepare the PPT, everything systematic, the data is stored, is arranged, the sequence are there. So those organizing the facts and opinions, if any students are received during daily life. So changing the data into information is called data processing or information processes. As a teacher now from information processor, the data processor. We hope from all this information stored in particular places, we can receive the learn this concept to disseminate to the students. That is called from the data processes. And another aspect means the gathering and organizing and reporting data to useful to deliver from the right time to the right persons, the right students, right scholars. It's often done using this information technologies. And another aspect means the two words we need to understand the communication technologies, the data and informations. We know throughout the world, the plenty of data, plenty of informations are there. For example, UNESCO has announced the 1970, 1 lakh millions of documents are there. 2000s, 1 crore millions. Now, 100 crores millions of documents are there. So the data or information are available. Those data, this includes for the individual fact, each and every people to accepting some different of aspects. Some statistical data, some statistical ideas are created. These data, the facts, ideas, stored, arranged in a systematic manner to expecting from ICT mode. I think this present generation of the peoples. And you know that's ICT tools. So the 20 years back, we are the teachers for the Blackboard teachers. Present now also the Blackboard teachers. But some people are comments to me, sir, why you are using for the Blackboards? So we have to store our mind. We can recover this everything aspects. The memory is created. But today everybody's not there. We can put it to the Google, to put it the keyword, to show it this aspect, to deliver this message. So the ICT tools, the radio, the televisions, video, DVD and telephones, and satellite systems, and the computer and hardware, softwares. And now everything for the video conferencing, we got everything sharing for electronic mails, and another aspect for the block is created also. So we have from olden days, the 20 years back, Blackboard teachings are there. Then after we are going to OHP sheets and phone pages are there. And we have to information for the wireless phones, communications or TVs or some other aspects. And another aspects for the LCD and PC, whiteboards, interactive panels. Now these every peoples are from the create the forums also. So we know the forums, we are connected for the search engines, some blacks, some e-groups. So throughout the world, around from the 8,000 search engines are there, but we are using from the Google only the search engines. Again, only 7% of information to deliver, remaining from 93% of information is not for deliver for the Googles. So we have to spread up a lot of search engines are there, but we are going to, for the Indian peoples are using the sharing informations, only the Google search engines. So we know the aspects from the every teaching methodology is going from the search engine based of informations, black based of informations, and e-groups of informations. And scope of internet as an ICT in education. So ICT as a tool to innovative teaching learning practice via internet. So in the present days, the new education policy has recently announced in the Indian government. So all things of these are e-learnings or e-content or digital contents. So multimedia way we teach the aspects. And for learning environment is a difference of aspects. For example, before COVID-19, after COVID-19, we are teaching everything from these online modes. For some of the meets, so the Google Meets, some of the forums, some of the aspects we are sharing of information are there. So the social media are sharing of information. And some of the administrative tools are there. In our education institutions, the education management systems, we developed this aspect from the internet-based of information to deliver from all the students. And for expanding learning opportunities for distance learnings. For example, you know the distance education programs are conducting per year for the 6 days or 10 days are conducting programs also. Now for everything for learning for the distance learnings and e-learning also. For example, later I will explain from the e-learnings from this some of the MOOC and SWAM courses are there. The content is created. So that is from the scope of internet as a ICT in education. So next from as a teacher, we know all the technological exposure of information are there, but what we have to communicate. The communication is simply is that the transformation of information from one person to another person, or one person to two persons, one person to three persons, but every person are knowing that. But the exchanging of information from computer to another computer, how they are to connect the aspects. So for example, before start the classes, some people are says, some participants are says that our voice is not clear. But some exchange of information to one computer to another computer, some problems are there. And the classical communication system is made up on information source as an encoder, the transmitter, the receiver, the decoder, storage, the retrieval, and an information destinations. So that is very much important from this as a teacher, which information to communicate, which source to communicate, which encoder of the persons, which transmitter of person, which receiver of the persons, which is very much important. That is known as from the communications. And we know that's from this. For example, the formal communications and informal communications. So we are going for the ICT, the synchronous communications are there. So the people are expecting these aspects. Already first I have to inform these aspects from the 7th type of the knowledge, the visual communications. So the online chat, the text-based of informations, audio-based informations, the video-based informations. We are expecting from these young generation, the students, generations are there. And mobile technologies. If everything is sharing for the mobiles, the mobile conferencings, mobile sharing of information. So this mobile technologies from the synchronous communications. And satellites, the television channels. We know for in our Tamil Nadu also we are conducting from the television channels also. For example, e-gynekas, the televisions are there. That is for all the education materials to deliver from each and every day. This is for some of the communicated from the students. And the video conferencings. That is called for synchronous communications. And asynchronous communications. So now we were expecting from these aspects for the discuss of forums. As a teacher, we are discussing about some forums as faculty members, the technological gatekeeper or invisible college. These two things from the discuss about that, we can sharing to these other persons. And we can create for the blacks also. So each and every people shall create the website address. So we create the particular subject, particular topic, we create for the blacks also. And the e-groups. And for the Wikipedia, everybody are knowing that's Wikipedia. Wikipedia means what I know is. So what I know is from that is for knowledge-based informations. But my suggestions means Wikipedia is a first information, not best informations. And from the search engines, and mobile SMS, and MMS, and podcastings. These are all asynchronous communications. So now the necessity of the ICTs. So the necessity of ICTs means in our India we are expecting. So throughout the world is expecting from globalization of the economics, the globalization of the informations. And those globalization of informations, globalization of economics, those aspects from the technological innovations. The new education policy also says from the technology innovative teaching techniques aspects. And those technological innovations within the stipulated from the knowledge-based economy and the knowledge-based societies. And based on from the demand, the escalating demand for educations. So which person to the knowing, which persons to learn, to given from these knowledge-based society, economics of aspects, global informations. Why this has been means the effective learning, the for all, any times, and anywhere places. So the ICT is a need from the any times, the anywhere, for all to learning the concept from the knowledge-based informations. So as a teacher, we moved from the ICT-based teaching methodological aspects. And the scope of internet as ICTs, everybody's are there. The scope from the educations are there, our research and communications, leisure entertainments are there, exploring the world, finance, shopping. But as a teacher, the educations, research, and the communications, and the exploring of the world. What type of information is going on throughout the world? Now in India, which information is going on? For example, the UNESCO has the curriculum design, all the continent. For example, throughout the world, 7 continents are there. In the Asian continent, which type of information to deliver? We framed from the UNESCO. So we know need of these ICTs for the internet-based for in Indian country peoples. The education, research, and communications, the exploring the world is very much important. And the use of the internet. These were searching. They are using people's searchings are there. The email service are given. The commercial service, the electronic books and publications, and the video conferencings, sharing data and results quickly, retrieving files and program of all types, find information databases and tutorials, newspaper columns, banking, downloadings, the newspapers, and the various education business governs these aspects. So the olden days, if you want anything, the people directly to went for the organization to retrieve the informations. But present days, all information is to available from these databases. So a lot of open education resources are there, open databases there. If you want anything 24/7, we can retrieve all things of information. After retrieving, we can deliver to the school scholars and the students and that some other persons. And the traditionals and versus for the internet-based ICT educations. The classrooms, the traditional classroom, ICT in educations. The physical, limited size for these aspects, limited size for 40 students only. But for example, the Google Meets, the 250 students, 250 participants to one time to connected from all the people sharing of information. The ICT in education is unlimited. So anytime, see anywhere the places. For example, the school times, for the college times, for 10 to 1 or 2 to 5. But we are going for a conduct from 4 to 5. For example, 6 to 7. We are conducting these aspects. And the content. For the old and traditional classrooms for PowerPoints, transparencies, textbooks, and libraries videos. But now the ICTs we need this aspect education to students to deliver multimedia and digital libraries on demands, and already as I say from the synchronous as well as communications aspects. And the personalizations means once learning the path. The traditional classroom means if any one person is to learning this for single people only. But the ICTs from the learning path and pace determined for the learners, but the different of the learners. We're sharing the informations. And the next one is from the psychology of using teaching aids, which include ICTs. So here is an effective sayings. So everybody, sir, as Valluvar says from this, here is very effective sayings. I hear, I forget. But I hear only, but without any visualization, because from the minds. So the students to expecting from the visualized information to expectings. As from the teachers to convey to message from the ICT words, the verbal descriptions only are not enough for learners to remember, to understand. Here the aspects. The visualization of the objects, especially in science and technology, is important. So the visualized to seeing the peoples to immediately store the minds. The next aspect means I see, I remember. I see, I remember. Knowledge that is gained through the sight is more colorful, accurate, and permanent. It is said that 80% of the knowledge is gained through our eyes. So we need from the technological oriented visualized teaching methods to expecting from the present generation's peoples. And ICT can help learnings that develop understandings. The speed and automatic functions of ICT can enable the teachers to demonstrate, explore or explain aspects of their teaching and students' learning more effectively. For example, use of spreadsheet to perform calculations in order to patterns can be considered as rather than the calculating. This is the developing understanding from ICT, the peoples. The ICT can help learnings extend access to source. So, for example, libraries for peoples. So, olden days, the every resources are occupied from these particular places. Now, these every resources are available for the search engines, so databases, so different of apps is there. We can anywhere, anytime we can access to retrieve the documents. The capacities and range of ICT can enable teachers and students to gain access to historical or recent or immediate information through from internets. And enhance inquiry skills, the search for and compare information from different sources. So at a time, we can go into searching for the search engines, different types of search engines are open, the same informations, different sources for the different of meanings, the same concept, different of meanings, different of views are given. That is from the main opportunities available from the ICT can help the learning the concept to deliver the students. And enhance the communications of ideas. So communicate with other peoples present informations in ways which are accessible in different forms for different audiences. So the ICT can from the present informations, you know from the every informations are there in ways which are accessible in different forms, different audience to attract it from these teaching technologies. And ICTs increase access to learning opportunities, the education opportunities in dispersed locations where conventional schools are not viable. So in the present situations, the education methods are choice-based credit systems, CBCS. The choice to students and parents of what they want to learn, choice-based credit systems after COVID-19. So all the students to expecting from choice-based credit systems are expecting. So these parents and students what they want to learn, but not come to the school, not come to the college, not come to the university. Within the house, we have to learn some things. So please, the teaching methodology to get a change. So they're expecting from the students. The safety net for school drops out, so they do not lapse in the illiteracies. So alternatives went to the aspect of the colleges. Second chance of the education, standardize the curriculum materials, the lifelong learning concepts to be developing from the ICT aspects. So, and from limiting fraud in assessment process. For example, If you go for the Google, the PPTs are which is a copy or not. We are with the fraud of the assessment process today. Everything is for showing for the ICTs. And for the goal and the key focus areas, the enhancing the reach, the quality of teaching and learning through ICT. The first from we are for the education policy. The new education policies are says everything from the technology oriented teaching the methodologies, teaching methodology to be adopted from all the school levels to higher research levels also. And another aspect means a training of teachers. The next steps is going to from this for learning, teaching and learning through ICTs. For example, whenever I studied from this for the not for the technological peoples, we know from the aspect of the reading and writing of methods of learnings. But now it's from the everything aspect space for technological orienteds. So the training of the teachers and the teaching and the learning concepts. So teaching methodology to change, learning concept also changed. And non-formal educations are there. And monitoring and measuring of the change. So everything's are changing. Climatic changes. For example, BD and AC. Some of the concepts are there. The after COVID-19, after COVID, before COVID-19, post and pre and these aspects. The monitoring, the measuring of change. And through the sharing of all the knowledge, the research informations to the end persons. That is the teaching and learning through the ICTs. And the potential of the ICTs. So why this ICTs are need from the new education policy says the potential of ICTs, one is for the access. It's a very quick access, anywhere, any places of the access. And for efficiency, we have to learn some things. Mind is free. We have to learn these concepts, the efficiencies to create. And from the learnings. And another one is from the teaching. As a teacher, we start teaching. We can access from the sources. Then access of the sources after the readings, after showing it, the efficiencies to learn. The learning, the concepts, now we are going to the teach. And from skills formations. So we know to communicate to the people, students, there is skills formations to sharing. And from lifelong learnings and for community linkages. So this for the community, the students' communities are teaching communities, the linkage is given from sharing to informations. And from planning and management. So we think about the planning and management, how they are to ICT tools to deliver to the students. And for the evaluations of the education technologies. So either this times for the impacts. So they growing the aspect of 3.2, internet greatest impacts. You know, Web 2.3, Web 3.0, 4.0, 5.0 is coming now. So this is going on, this process is going on. For example, so this from the T2, this internet field. So that is for the evolution of the education technology. The national ICT agenda means the people and the infrastructures, the applications and the contents. The peoples, the work cultures, the ICT skills. If we need from the ICT skills, for example, lot of rural areas, there is no any ICT information are there. We don't have any connectivities are there. So we got to promote from these ICT skills. It's knowledge workers, the learning societies, united and moral and ethicals. And the infrastructures are there, communications are there. The fiber optic cablings, for example, there is some of the rural area, there is no any cablings. We can promote this aspect. It's gigabyte ATMs also. The satellites communications are there. Transport and logistic of information are there. The infrastructures are available. National ICT agenda. And applications and content, smart schools, e-government, e-governance. So the Modi government has announced for e-governance, the smart cards methods, the telemedicines, and the others also is there. So we know from this from national ICT agenda, so people, infrastructures and applications and content to interconnected to deliver to the knowledgeable society to develop. And the nation's ICT education visions. So the information societies, for example, 20-30 years back, the information societies are there. 10 years back, for the knowledge societies. Now, the competitive societies. So this from ICT-based economics is need. Information society for the 2005, 2010 to from the knowledge society, 2020 from competitive societies. So we know from this, from the ICT need is very much in need. As a teacher, we deliver from the whole communication from the ICT. So learning models will need to change. So the learning models, the industrial age, olden day from the industrial age, now the digital age, the learning models. How do people learn the digital environments? It's e-learning effectives. Further now is expecting every people for e-learnings. So we are going to from the e-learning effectively as a learners are ready, but the new learning models are needed. So what new models? Think creativity aspects. So the 5 important principles is very much important as a teachers. First of all, know yourselves, learn to relate, learn to communicate, empathy, think creativities. Not create for the sympathies, empathy, think creativities. As a learner, ready. As a students, as a learners, as a ready. But a new learning model to our need are now is available are there. So teachers is going to from new model to deliver to the students. And the traditional and e-learning approaches. You know the classrooms are physical and synchronous. E-learning from anytime, anywhere are there. Already I have to explain from these traditional e-learning approaches also. And the deliver mode will change. So growth students populations. For example, 50 years back, the growth students populations. So now, if every people suffer, the more virtual universities are there, virtual without any walls. We can access now without any walls. The one wire connection, without any connections, we are connected to the Google Meet. We can sharing of information. So deliver mode will change, and the increase in the tuition fees also. So this for the school levels, college levels, the traditional aspects, the increased tuition fees, the cost-effective solutions, the e-learnings. So we teach from at a time to 250 students in the Google Meet. Zoom for the 500 students. At a times we can deliver the message. And the lack of facilities and fundings and the privatization of the education also. The deliver mode will change. These are the budgets. These are conducted from CR all online classes also. The privatization of the education are delivered from these online modes. And the teaching aids already explains. And from the e-learnings. In and online, so multimedia learning environments. Now is for every people are learning from this by the e-learning concepts. So teaching and learning is one-to-one. It's individual. So formal communications, the communications one-to-one aspects. More interactivities, that's showing in normal classrooms. Learner are center. The learner monitors our grading systems. That's the e-learnings. What's the benefits of the e-learnings? For example, the UGC also, University Grant Commission has announced if you create the e-contents, e-learning concepts. The MOOC SWAM programs are conducted also. The convenience, self-services, mix and match of the aspects. On demand of the aspects. If any times, anywhere, any places, if you need the demand of the students, if you deliver these methods, for the e-learning methods. And the private learnings, self-space, flexibilities. So we know the flexibility of information to deliver as a modular package. And benefits, cost effectives, the virtual learning environments. Share lessons among schools, reduce material cost, reduce the travels and accommodators. And the benefits, consistency. This from the central control of contents, same quality of content for all, same quality of education for all. So without any partialities, the same quality content for all. So for example, the school levels also, the tuition is conducted is there, conducted also, the teachers also. In classrooms, some subjects only taken the classes. In going to the tuitions, the extraordinary classes to be taken. So there is no any these aspects consistent. Same quality of the content for all, same quality of education for all. And the media is rich, easier to understand, some more engaging, it's a repeatables. As many times as you like, this for the repeatable of the aspects. So to avoid the repeatable from these e-learning concepts. Easier to monitor progress, less administrative work, can be more precise. So these are accurate information to deliver from these e-learning concepts. And teachers' obligations. The teachers' obligations means they use all available technologies. For teachers' obligations, all available technologies available from these availables. Encourage collaborative learnings. So now is a blended learnings also in there, the collaborative learnings. Lay a foundation for lifelong learnings and incorporates old and new aspects. So old and day, what type of information should share? The present situations, what type of information share? So we are the teachers to obligation from availability of the technological aspects. The availability of technological aspects to deliver to information to the students. So building and e-learning cultures. So before building the e-learning cultures, so learner is important. And administrators and teachers. And the first aspect is the learners. So which type of the learners are there to deliver these aspects? For example, if you are going from the LKG students, how they are learn these concepts? So if you go from the TV, taken the classes for the LKGs to the second standards, So we know from the need, self-directed, self-motivated, self-regulating, the lifelong learnings. And the learner is very much important. As a learner, which type of the learners? As a teacher, you have to develop the knowledge and skills. The update of knowledge is expecting from the present scenario of the students. The update of the knowledge. Understand learning and its needs. So they understand the learning and its needs. So the students are understand or not. Without some people are teaching the methodology. For example, the Google Meet, we teach the methods. Some people are understand or not the hearing or seeing that whatever they said, I have to deliver the message also. The facilitate learnings. So the facilities are available for learners. They create learning opportunities. So next aspect means the learning opportunity to create for the students. And administrators create learnings environment, provide ICT infrastructure, resources for lifelong learning. It's a building on e-learning cultures. E-learnings as a tools. So every teacher should have an email account. So communicate with the students, communicate with the parents also. Students can submit assignments, can have attachments, create paperless environments, simple but effective, efficient and cost effective. So present education system after COVID-19 is going on these are concepts, e-learning tools. That's why each and every students are creating email accounts. So all information is communicated to the students and parents also. So every assignments and seminars, whatever things also submitted from these mail IDs. The paperless environment is also going on to the e-learning tools. And the e-learning tool charts. So we know from the Chinkor's communication tools, already explains, communicate with students and communicate with the parents. More students are participants, the collaborative learnings. So we know from the expecting for the students, the collaborative learnings. As a teacher, we know to create this aspect of the collaborative learning methodologies to create. And from these online forums, the asynchronous discuss forums, for example, e-forums, the blacks, whatever things are there. As a teacher, can create the discussion groups. If you create for the particular for the classrooms, 40 students are there, 20 students are brilliant, 10 students are the average, and another 10 students for the poor. So we know they create from the discussion forums, discussion groups. Teachers could post your questions and request students to comment. Students can post their comments also. Can encourage community participations. Collaborative learnings can be fostered. Feedback from diverse cultures. So these all informations to create for the teachers. The discuss groups, questions, post the questions and request the students to comment. Students can post their comments also, the community participators, and feedback from diverse culture. That's why we know the feedback. So my teaching methods, how they are to learn. This everything is to learn for the feedback. And learning tools. The wide range of materials are available. So the tools are there. Wide range of materials. For example, in Wikipedia, if you go to the blue lines, is going to given. If you click from all the information showing, that's from these wide range of materials are available. Teacher will need to narrow down. So those the narrow information to taken to communicate the student from the technological aspects. It is a resource centers. For example, it's a library is a resource centers. So this, for example, internet is one of the resource centers. Search engine is one of the resource centers. The database is the resource centers. Sharing of the resources. For example, in college levels, UGC, Infonets, for the Sozintu, all information to share for all the scholars and faculty members. So recently, 2019 has announced from the present government, the Sozintu, older name for the UGC Infonets, Index, Genlist. These are all combined together, named the Sozintu. This is for the sharing of resources, supported by the images, audio, simulations, and the multimedias. And e-learning tools. So a lot of video conferencing are there, video technologies are there. For example, Byju's is conducted from a lot of video classes are going on. Can conduct the live lectures, communications with the students, communication with the parents, support by audio chat with the whiteboards, support sharing of applications. So a lot of applications are there. So you know that we showing all these applications not for the students. If a teacher to showing these applications to read them, to sharing to the students, can be recorded and let it be used for demand lectures. Based on the demands, the demo to be delivered. That's for the e-learning tools, the video conferencing. And tools, learning management system, LMS. For example, everything for all institutions, all universities, colleges also, for olden days. So library stored from these, the documents, the documentations work is going on. Now, all this information for the LMS, Learning Management System. So management of the content, tracking of students. For example, if a PPT is stored from this in your organizations to create from the LMS to any times the tracking the students, the administrative features, integrations with various tools such as chat, forums, emails also, the reportings, demo of the multimedia learning system also. So all video or audios or everything or PPTs, whatever things to create from this LMS. This for the open source softwares. We create from the all this information stored. So any times of tracking the students to any times to create any times if you doubts you can show it this aspect to learning these concepts. This is the learning management system. Some of the software learning management software systems are there. So Moodles, one of the, not for the Noodle, it's a Moodle. Moodle is one of the is a learning platform designed to provide educators, administrators, and learners with a single, robust, secure, and integrated system to create personalized learning environment. This is for the open source software. All these PPTs or videos or lectures, everything is stored from the softwares. And Udemy is a mobile-based training platform that gives your workforce knowledge they need to succeed. For example, yesterday I saw from the newspaper, Hindu newspaper, the Anna University Library to start from this for mobiles. If you want anything from, if you create for the user ID login, if you want anything to learn from within 24/7 to create from the wife plot. This is for the create for the University Library also. So the Udemy and the Magic Box Learnings. This is for one of the from learning management system. And of the Dossier is an online tool from the Interfollow that allows user to manage documents. So all these aspects is available to the learning management systems. Next aspect means the social medias. The social sendings. For now, the every people are for sharing of information, social medias. Without social medias, we cannot deliver. So every people, for example, we all shared information from the social medias. The social selling is making a few tricks to your daily routine to align yourselves with the new buyer's behavior. These tricks will be like putting high octane fuel in your race car. That is for the social selling. The social proximities, where the people are the social proximities, refers to how close your social connections are to that of your prospective customer, prospective students, prospective scholars. And social medias, you are always growing your network of the social connections. So more mutual connections, higher social proximities, and higher likelihood for getting the good and quick interactions in the referrals. As for the social proximity is very much important before sharing the social medias. And search engines. So now the search engine is very dominant. Already I explained. The recent research suggested that social sharing has now become the number of one drive from SEO rank. Search engines. Right? In other words, Google's and Bing are monitoring the social sharing activity for each sites and are assigned substantial weight on that activity to determine the search rank. This for the information is given for the social media, search engine interface. So what is the social media? Social media refers to online tools and services which allow an exchange of ideas, informations, videos, pictures, and graphics just about anything you can name. The social media also allows easy sharing and the distribution of existing content to others so that professionals' work can be shared through networks. So that is from social medias. So the social medias, these for key social potentials. So need for the blogging, we create for the blog. We can connect it from this all information to share and micro blogging and RSSs. RSS mean rich site summaries and widgets, social networking, and chat rooms, message boards, podcasts, and video sharings and photo. So these are all from these social medias with the connect for the Web 2.0. Now it's going for Web 3.0 also. These are all lot of social medias are there. We can sharing to the information from the all these aspects. So what is Web 2.0? The websites are internet applications which empower people to share information, work together. So these were Web 2.0. The share of information from the empower of the peoples to work together, and the usability and accessibility are key to Web 2.0. So overview type of the social media services. So bookmarking sites and social news sites. So this is for the tick. This is for the bookmarking. If you want for any people, any teachers or academic scholars, the tick. The Black's microblasts, Twitter and the temples. The social networking sites are there. Everybody's knowing Facebook and Google Plus, not for Google, Google Plus. The shopping sites for Amazon. Before the starting of Amazon for the book selling, book publishings only. So now is for all these aspects. And the multimedia sharings, YouTubes, Flickrs, the virtual world of Warcrafts on the second lives. So these are all from the social medias. From everybody's social Flickrs, Facebook, YouTube, MySpace, and friends Meetup. These are all things from the social medias. And so what are the real benefits of the social medias? It's going to teach. The organization's message will reach the wider audience. So the whole organizations or college or universities or schools or experting firms that will reach the wider audience of the peoples. Strengthens of the builds the relationships. So we are more connected from the real benefit from the social media to the peoples. Engages the constitutions. The facilitates the collaborations. Mobilizes constitutions around issues that are important to them and creates advocates. Easier and broader dissemination of the information. So all these from the real benefits of the social medias. And do's of the social medias, so provides value, be genuine, strategize, and listen, be creatives. So that is called the social media we get sharing the teachers. For example, the Facebooks. The Facebooks allows you to directly engage your conversations with a variety of different medias, such as videos, polls, and status updates. So the dissemination information, what is a NAP? So NAP is to ensure the political, the educational, and the societal, the economical equalities are higher. All persons to eliminate access from the discriminations. So that is for what is the NAP are doing on. Get feedback, the comments and likes quizzes, launches cases and donations drives, financial freedoms and center Facebook pages. And as for the Twitter, there's some of the social media Twitters. Twitter connects you with the constitution through the exchange. Quick, frequent answers. The one simple questions. What are you? Instantly connected with the people who are interested in similar issues. Interact with the constitutions. Disseminates information to wider audience. Financial freedom center Twitters. So need for the tweet also. We can from the publications also, from the tweets, from the connector, from the getting of the citations also. And the link to top by best practices. Think for the search engines optimizations. Be active. Follow industry influences. Admit to chart. Don't talk about your news source. And tips for all platforms. You have a consistent brand. Engage. If it is posted, it is a public. You cannot, as a little self-promotion goes a long way. But brackets are equal, if not more anyway, online than they are in persons. You don't have to everywhere. Connect rituals, want locally for the Twitter tips for the platforms. Thank you. Any clarifications? My presentations is over.
Thank you, sir. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Your words were so engrossing and your gripping knowledge was unputdownable. Once again, thank you, sir. Now, I hand over the session to Dr. Sujata, ma'am. Ma'am, I hand over the session to you.
Yes, sir. Dear participants, do you have any doubts or clarification with our speaker? You can have a discussion. You can raise your doubts also if he is here to clarify you all. If any doubts or any clarifications needed.
Sir, this is Dhanlakshmi sir, hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Hello?
yes, Dhanlakshmi sir is raised. You can ask, ma'am.
Sir, my friend is a blind sir.
Okay.
Actually, her memory power is so good, excellent. And mostly I have seen many blind people, their memory power will be really excellent. Actually, in your, while you're presenting, you were just mentioning that, while hearing, you will just get, it will be retained, whatever we are teaching. If the student is going to hear, it will be retained for, to the lesser extent compared to that of watching the thing, like whatever we are presenting. But I just have a doubt in this. Can you just clarify with me, sir?
Tell me, madam.
My question is clear.
Hello.
Sir, am I making it clear, sir?
Yes.
Sir, shall I
Hello.
type it or?
Type it, madam. Please type it. Please type it.
Sir, my doubt is, sir, am I audible?
Audible. Yes, yes.
சார் ஆக்சுவலா பார்வை தெரியாதவங்களுக்கு நிறைய மெமரி பவர் அதிகமா இருக்கு எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் என்னோட
சரி, madam.
இப்ப பாத்தீங்கன்னா நீங்க பிரசன்ட் பண்ணதுல கேக்குறத விட பாக்குறது பெட்டர். ஆக்சுவலி 80% retention will be there. That's what I mentioned.
Yes.
Actually, how is it, when they are able, எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் பிளைண்ட் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் நல்ல ரிட்டென்ஷன் அதிகமாவே இருக்கு.
If you understand, madam, blind is with the God grace to give these from the knowledge power. But UNESCO has announced, so they visualized learning concepts is very much important. So to 80% of the persons to visualize to learnings to memory the store. But I am not announced. UNESCO, United Nations Education Scientific Cultural Organization, has announced from 80%. We are framed for the curriculum. Throughout the world, the curriculums are designed. The UNESCO okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other clarifications needed from participant side? Okay, I think it's all clear from participants side. We can go ahead. Dear all, the two hardest things to say in life are hello for the first time and goodbye for the last. With this Moira Rogers quotes, and start with saying vote of thanks. At last, we came at the end of this last day of this 5 days national level faculty development program, a training series 1, to give note of thanks. The best and beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt by heart. Thank you is one such prayer among them. I'm Dr. P. Sujata, here to spell out words thanks to all those who made this evening a sweet memory to carry home. I consider it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this exceptionally important event. My words is not enough to express my gratitude on behalf of college, and now I would like to thank our 5 days special guest speakers, Dr. D. Venkatraman sir, Dr. Mrs. Chelvi S. Madam, Dr. Radhika Vidyasagar Madam, Dr. M. Kumarasamy sir, and today's special guest speaker, Dr. C. Ranganathan sir, who all, despite the busy schedule, have found time to grace this occasion. I like to thank our Honorable Principal, Dr. D. Gladys, Bharati Women's College, to given me this very good opportunity to conduct this event. And also, I thank to our head of the department and our department staff members and other department staff members of our college for their backbone support. I thank all the distinguished invitees who have given their presence for this auspicious day by accepting my invitation. Last but not least, like a pillars of the buildings, how important it is. Of course, the same way without any participants and the registrations on this event by giving their presence physically and mentally for this auspicious occasion. It won't be completed successfully. Hence, my great gratitude to all the registered participants. Thank you all participants. Also, I show appreciation to the people who have been strength of this event. Once again, I would like to state that I am glad to all speakers here over this auspicious event. I thank you for being with us. It has remained a pronounced pleasure. I would like to give a special thank and honor to Dr. D. Venkataraman sir, who helped me to catching our extraordinary special guest speakers for this special auspicious occasion to conduct through a great success. So I spread my most sincere thanks to the Lord God for giving me such a kindful person. Thank you, Venkataraman sir. You all make the world come alive. You all make the world colorful. You are the inspiration behind all that happen. You all are the pillars of strength to many around you. An individual has not started and living until he rises above the confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concern of all humanity. With these words, I wish you all happy, wonderful day ahead. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you all participants. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.